Hi there, this is Jules at the McKinney Center here, ready for another Try It challenge. Now I hope you like making faces. This next one we're going to incorporate a little bit of writing skills. We're going to do a haiku challenge. Now you might go, I've never written poetry before. Well, haiku is a great place to start. It's a really fun form and it's a really beautiful form, and it's been around for a long time. Now you might be asking, what is a haiku? A haiku is a really brief poem. It's only 3 lines long. Traditionally, it's a poem of 3 lines. So what we're looking for is 5 syllables, 7 syllables, and then 5 syllables. If you're not sure what a syllable is, let's clap when I give you a couple of examples. Like, my name is Jules. Jules. That word has 1 syllable. How about McKinney? McKinney. That would be 3 syllables, okay? That doesn't sound like a lot, does it? But it makes a really beautiful poem, and this poem form was created in Japan around in the 1600s, and it was created by a bunch of poets who got really tired of how long and stretched out a lot of poetry during those days was starting to get. So really, ideally, this form of poetry should be said in 1 breath. That's kind of what haiku means. Now, one of the most famous poems from Japan is by one of their most famous poets named Basho. And it goes like this. And this is where we get the 575 from, which is from his poem. And I'm going to read it first as he wrote it in Japanese, and then I'm going to do the translation. Furuike ya Kawatsu tobiko mu, mitsu no to oto. Okay, that's the whole poem, and it means, old pond, a frog makes a splash, the water is silent again. So the people who studied, the English people who studied some of the Japanese haikus, they distilled it into 575, which is what we're going to do. Now I'm going to read you another one, and this is a Japanese one too, by Murakami Kijo, who was a Japanese poet during the Victorian era, and I love this one. This is my favorite. First autumn morning, the mirror I stare into shows my father's face. Now that's an element of a haiku as well, which it usually has a surprise or secret ending, right? You wouldn't expect to see somebody else's face in the mirror, but if you reflect about the time of year, autumn, and the time of his life, which may be autumn as he's becoming to look more like his father, it comes out. Now, there's an American poet I like, Jack Kerouac, and he wrote poetry too, and I'm going to read that one and see if you can find the surprise in this one. In my medicine cabinet, the winter fly has died of old age. Okay, again, there's another surprise. Now, we're asking you in this challenge to make your own poem about what's happening right now, right? Some of you are home, some of you are essential workers, but we're all doing our part to get through these really difficult times. So kids, I would love for you to try your hand at poetry. In fact, I worked in a youth program this year at the middle school, and some of the best poets that I've ever heard came from the middle school with their haikus. So I'm going to give you an example. So we want 5, 7, 5 in 3 lines. So kids may be experiencing this: staying home from school, keeping community safe, I miss my teacher. That's something you could do, right? In fact, you could probably do it a lot better than that one. I bet some of you have already thought of some already. And I like to count on my fingers because it helps me keep track of 5, 7, 5. Adults, now we want you to read some of your poetry too, and we want you to make some up. How about something like this? Shuttering doorways, a painful isolation, new world emerging, right? So it can come from your own point of view, but we want it to be about some of the things that you are facing right now. I hope you give it a try in our Try It Challenge, and we'll let you send up to 3 haikus to us. So here's how to enter for the Haiku Try It. It would be great if you could video yourself reading your haikus because they sound so pretty out loud, and that's really how poetry is supposed to be done. But if you're a little bit shy, you can also write them down or type them up and send them in.